Folks, it was worth sharing the show just for that one nugget right there. "97% of entrepreneurs work on weekends. 81% work while they're on vacation. 73% are checking and answering email on that vacation. 44% have missed a personal milestone, a birthday maybe, a wedding, an anniversary, a school pickup even, because they were too busy running their businesses. And 37% say that working on vacation has caused an actual argument with their partner." Folks, those aren't just statistics. That's a hostage situation. And here's the part that stings. You built that cage yourself. You became an entrepreneur to own your time. And somewhere along the way, your time started owning you. Today, we're going to talk about what changes when you hand that problem to AI, not to make you busier, but to make you more dangerous. I'm Joe Downs. With me is Peter Swain. We're just a couple of successful idiots using AI to simplify our lives and optimize our businesses. And that's what we're here to show you today through the use of agents. Peter, true or false? The British version of work-life balance is scheduling a 10-minute tea break between your first and your second email.
Can't believe I just took a swig as you said that.
As you're sipping tea.
False. Definitely false.
That is empirically true and clearly evident based on the
Cheers.
video that you are on. Folks, before we get into today's episode, real quick ask, if you've gotten anything out of this show, and you're definitely going to get something out of this one, do us a favor, leave us a rating right now, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Don't bookmark it. Don't do or tell yourself you'll do it later, or tell us you'll do it later. Just do us a favor. It takes 30 seconds. Give us a rating. We greatly appreciate it. Peter, today, I'm hopeful that between our interactions, but mostly it's going to be you, you're gonna explain and inform to our listener what a Hermes, and we're going to talk about pronouncing it. You know, typically I'm very, very good at pronouncing names.
Are you sure about that?
I have had the worst run of luck on this show.
The last 10 weeks doesn't necessarily point us in that direction.
Past performance is no guarantee of future results or performance. You're gonna talk to, whatever, explain to the listener what a Hermes or Hermes agent is, and actually can do. And really, I think it's going to be through our interaction that's going to be very evident. And we're not going to get into the tech, not the install, just the magic, right? Then based on where I actually am in my setup, I'm going to start throwing you my wish list. Real things that I want personally, that I think most people want, you know, not just in my business, in my life. And you're going to tell me if it's possible and roughly how. And I think by the end of this one, every entrepreneur listening is going to wonder how they ever ran their business without something like this.
I'm excited.
We are recording this a day later than we otherwise would have, which means I'm actually even more advanced with my Hermes setup. So we're going to see how
a day in the life of AI, eh?
Exactly. Well, that's how fast it moves, right?
100%.
So let's start with the honest conversation here that every entrepreneur listening already knows is true, but probably hasn't said out loud. I'm guilty as charged here, by the way, too. In fact, my whole opening, all those things, the 97%, 60%, 37%, whatever it was, guilty as charged of all of them, all right? Including the arguments with my wife.
You know, that's the only one I disagreed with. The 30x% has an argument caused by working on a vacation. If that isn't 100%, it's 100.
At one point, it's 100. Maybe it's not every vacation, but it's happened at least once.
It's not every vacation, but it's certainly every person.
Yeah.
I can remember saying to Liz when she wasn't part of the business, you know how we paid for us to be here, right?
I was just going to say and I guarantee you 100% of the time, that is the answer we give, because I've given it a few times.
Yeah. And I'm not justifying it. It's still not correct, but it's like, where am I going to, you see, when you said the list, I was reminded of a sentence that I said. It's kind of a bit painful actually thinking about it. It's when we had our first child. So when we added in the business plus children plus marriage, I woke up every day for at least a year wondering this question: what am I going to fail at today? because it was impossible when I added in kids as well. It's impossible to win. I cannot win at everything anymore. It was a really quite negative time of like, I'm gonna fail at something today. Is it my marriage, my responsibility as a father, or is it my business? That's my choice. I've got to fail at something. And I don't think that's true anymore because of what we're about to talk about today.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think I've ever had those thoughts. Fortunately, that doesn't sound very Tony Robbins. I'll tell you that.
Well, I met him a bit later on. So.
All right, and this isn't just about vacation though, right? So vacation is where it becomes evident. I think
Mhm.
if we're honest with ourselves, if I look at my own day, and if I'm being honest with myself, there's really only 2 to 3 hours a day where you're actually doing the thing that
Uh-huh.
moves the business forward. The rest of the stuff, it's just busy work, right? And
Yep.
and for me, because I'm probably someone that still holds on to the excuse of the vacation excuse of, well, why do you think we're here? It's because I'm able to. But more there, I think there's gonna be more of a less noticeable, maybe less noticeable, but definitely more of an impact just in your day to day when you're not on vacation. Of just if there was a magical agent who could just take care of a whole bunch of busy work for you if you set it up that way. And, we used to live in a time where we'd say things like, oh, it'd be amazing if, and wouldn't it be nice if. And we don't live in that time anymore because we now live in a time where I'm saying, wow, I can't believe I just set that up and it's going to do this every day for me. What else can it do? Am I doing it right? Those sort of things. And then now it's just, what can you imagine? And I've said this before on the
Mhm.
show, and I've said it to many people. We were all lied to when we were younger that if you can dream it, you can do it, right? One in a million could. I dreamed of playing in the NFL someday. My body said, no, I don't think so. So, but now, if you can dream it, you can ideate it. And short of my body being big enough to play in the NFL, you can do it, right? So that's what I want to focus on today because there's entrepreneurs out there that I know are losing time. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they have no system. It's because they just don't know that they don't know what's possible. I'll say it that way. I only know what's possible because of how much I've leaned into AI and with your help. And everyone listening knows what's possible because we're talking about it. And maybe they're getting it from other sources as well. But,
What?
you know,
Why are they doing
oh,
that?
I don't
Madness.
I'm sure they see stuff on social media.
Polygamous
I
relationships.
didn't say they're listening to others, people.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. Anyway, we have our egos to stroke here, people. All right. So, what is actually happening? And this is gonna be a little bit of an abstract question for you, but I love I love pitching you these slow curveballs and see how you hit them. So, what is actually happening in your opinion or in your experience to the entrepreneur's brain when they're stuck in the cycle that we've always been stuck in before? Like, what's going on there?
Oh, I think that's a great question. So look, very, very broad strokes. There's gonna be like a brain doctor that listens to this and says, "That's wrong," which is and it is, but it's right enough. We have 2 versions of our nervous system. We've got what's called the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic, easy for me to say, parasympathetic nervous system fires when we're at rest, when we feel abundant, when we have money, when we have shelter, food, water, etc. And it turns on different pieces of our brain. Our sympathetic nervous system fires when we're under stress, when we don't have an abundance of resources, when there's a car coming, when all those kind of things. And it actually turns other pieces of our physiology in our brain on. So creative thinking, creative thought, and being able to see the thing that you need to be able to see in order to navigate and grow the company only happens in your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you put yourself under consistent pressure, you actually denigrate quite quickly your capability to use your prefrontal cortex and be this amazing human. You become very reactive, and you actually start making really, really bad choices really quite quickly. And you stop being the machine that can find this distinction and make $1 million. And instead you become this machine that can grind out another 30 or another 10 or another 5 in order. So you end up just staying there for a long time, made worse by the fact that we then go on vacation where we can actually reground and recenter ourselves. And then we, because we're in such scarcity, we carry on the same pattern. So we never actually recharge and recuperate. I don't know the statistic on this, but I'm willing to put a bet down that heart attacks, stroke, and suicides are probably, entrepreneurs have got to be in the top 5.
That's interesting. We'll have to look that up. You nailed it. Guilty as charged. Especially what you've had a front row seat to what I've been going through lately, building this Storage Moguls .ai education community platform for teaching people how to source, evaluate, underwrite, buy storage facilities. The vision, and entrepreneurs by definition are visionaries, right? They just have to be.
Delusional visionaries, by the way.
Fair enough. I've suffered plenty of delusions, but sometimes we hit on good ideas, right? So visionary.
Can I explain that? Because it's actually really relevant to your last point. I'm sorry. The reason I said that was the underpinning of being an entrepreneur is basically you saying, I know how to do it better than somebody else. Like, you wouldn't invent a product if you're like, oh, a new form of cola. Okay.
Mhm.
So a stupid example. You wouldn't invent a new form of cola if you went, I know that mine is going to taste worse than the others. You wouldn't do that, right? It's quite arrogant.
Better or new, right? Introducing something new,
Yeah.
or a better version of something that exists. Is that
But
fair?
there's an arrogance to this of being able to, which is, I'm saying it's a prerequisite to being a successful entrepreneur, is being delusional and arrogant, because you
Yeah.
have to say, I'm going to will my thing into existence with no evidence to tell me that it's going to work. In fact, you've got lots of evidence, if you look at any of the statistics, to tell you it's probably not going to work. And yet you do it anyway. And the reason I said that is going back to your last point. The number one prerequisite of being a successful entrepreneur is being able to believe in the thing that you're building, even when the evidence is to the contrary.
Are you trying to mess with my psyche right now at such a fragile point of launching Storage Moguls?
Well, I think it's a compliment, because it's been a bit of a rocky road, and I think you've done incredibly well. It's, it's those moments where you're like, I believe. I don't have any evidence, but I believe.
Yeah, that's all that gets you through.
But when you're on holiday still working and all that stuff we were just talking about, your ability to actually see the positives greatly diminishes. That's what I was trying to get to.
100%. And that's what I'm trying to get to as well. I have felt it, seen it in my own right, because I've been going through the minutia of dotting I's, crossing T's, blocking and tackling stuff that I don't want to do, stuff that is not my unique ability, because I want to be the visionary. I want to be the person that says, and then once we do that, we can do this. And, user X will love this and user Y will need that. I have felt like a shell of myself in the last several months because I haven't had the chance to let my brain go on vacation, because I've been doing the minutia. And it's a tornado of emotions there. There's feelings of failure because I'm doing things that maybe I'm not the best person to do. I know I can't do things that I want to do because I don't have time, right? Because I have to dot I's and cross T's and get this deliverable done and that deliverable done and deal with this problem and deal with that problem. And it's just incredibly frustrating from a personal psychological standpoint, without getting too deep, I'm okay, everybody. I'm fine. But, but you understand what I'm saying, where
100%.
I'm not free to be the visionary that I want to be because I'm bogged down with so much crap.
It's become work, not play.
And it's not fun, right? When you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. When you don't enjoy what you're doing, but you have to do it, it's not play, it's work. And on top of that, up late nights,
Well, and it's work without a
weekends,
paycheck as well.
100%.
Like, at least if you're working for, I don't know, EY, you're like, okay, I hate this, it sucks, but thanks for the $30,000 on the 30th.
Yeah.
That makes it feel a bit better.
Yeah. That's always fun to explain to your wife why you're also not making money while you're doing this.
Or your husband. Sorry, we're in 2026, Joe.
Is this still the Successful Idiots podcast, or have I officially moved to the couch? So introduce Hermes here, or is it Hermes or Hermes?
Let's go for Hermes.
Okay, Hermes. We've all been, I'm sure everyone listening has been hearing a lot about agents for sure. Maybe they haven't heard of Hermes. Might have heard of OpenClaw. Hermes, is it fair to say Hermes is the OpenClaw on steroids, but with guardrails? Is that?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Generic way to put it. And that's what I want to get into right now, because Peter, at least I'm only in the very beginning stages of it, and then we're gonna walk through some stuff later in the show. But for the first time in a long time, and I did have Manus working for me for a little bit, and it was helping alleviate some of the dotting of the I's and crossing to the boring, just responding to this email, that type of thing. But then I outgrew it. Let's just say that. And it started to just be too expensive and costly and whatever, because of all the is it tools or tolls? I can't even tell. Tokens, whatever. So I see the light. I am now invigorated again. There was a period of time, I'm never going to say it was a dark period in my life in the last 2 months, but I definitely couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
I now feel like, oh yeah, the solution is here, and I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg of it right now. But I want to address something before we get into Hermes in general, and that's for everyone listening, right? Because when I first heard the word agent, I thought it kind of sounded weird and impersonal,
mm-hmm.
or cold, whatever, something like out of a movie. And so I want to talk about the kind of the fun part before we get into what it can do. Like, is that why we name them? Like yours is named Jet, not because you're a horribly misguided fan of the New York Jets. I think there's another reason, right?
It was my first crush as a teenager.
Joan Jett?
No, Jet was a gladiator on the UK TV show.
She was a gladiator.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. UK,
before we go into why we named them, let's talk about something else just very, very briefly if we can, which is, what is an agent?
Yeah,
because the word is thrown around like it's candy. And I was on stage at DC Tech Week at the end of last year, and I was on a panel with other experts talking about AI agents. And I asked what I thought was a very innocent question. And I said, before we begin the discussion, what is our definition of an agent? I was on the stage with 5 other people, and Joe, not one of them could actually define it.
And these were experts.
These are, I mean, some of them, selling it, peddling it, national speakers, journalists. I'm like, are you kidding? My language was a bit more fruity, but I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're going to sit in front of 400 people and you can't even define what an agent is. So here's my definition that I've used since. Number 1, and this is to qualify as an AI agent versus AI like Claude, ChatGPT. So what makes something an agent versus a chatbot?
Or a tool, even. A lot of people have said an agent's just a tool you can use. And I was like, I don't know that that's how I describe it.
So number one, the agent must start itself in the most natural way possible. What I mean by that is if you're asking it to say, analyze a transcript of a call, you shouldn't have to tell it there is a transcript of the call. You should not have to go and download the transcript to feed the transcript in. It should detect that a transcript exists and do the process. So that's number one. It must start itself, instantiate itself in the most natural way possible. Criteria number two, it must complete the task to the same degree as a human or better. Now, you can define the task very, very small, like move this to here when this happens. Great. That would not change whether it is or isn't an agent. It would change how useful the agent was, but it must start itself in the most natural way. Number one. Number two, it must complete the task to the same degree as a human or better. Those are my two.
Okay.
If you can tell me your thing does those two things, then to me, we're now in the world of agentic AI, not chat AI.
Okay. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah. So then with that, why do we name it? We name it because it changes the language that we use. Because when I've spoke to people across the last 3 years, at the beginning of their AI journey, they say something like, "It didn't work." When I can move them to he or she, they stop saying it didn't work, because you can't say it about a he or a she. You get to why didn't they do what I wanted, and what comes after that, if I get it right, is people then say, what did I need to say differently? So what's happened by the simple act of giving something a name is you've moved it from being a technological engagement to being a communication engagement.
I was going to say it humanizes it a little bit.
You humanize it by anthropomorphizing something. You develop a relationship with it, and people go, "Well, that's weird." And then I remind them that they probably don't call their dog dog. Dogs aren't human. People give names to their cars. They give names to boats. We give names to planes. When we want to develop a relationship, something, your brain needs a hook. Literally, it needs a hook of like, well, what is this thing?
I like
Give
to
it a
think
name.
of it as a personal assistant.
Yep. And yours is called, by the way?
Gritty.
Gritty? Where did that come from?
Well, one of our core values in our office is grit. It's supposed to be grit, but we had fun with it, called it Gritty. Why Gritty? Because Gritty is the name of the Philadelphia Flyers mascot. Kind of like a Philadelphia Fanatic looking thing. I don't know what it is. Animal.
Well,
it's not an actual animal. Neither is a Fanatic. You know the story about Gritty? So Gritty
I do. You told me, yeah. It's still a good story.
I'll tell it quick. So this is so Philadelphia. So they come out with Gritty, I don't know how many years ago, and they introduce it in Philadelphia, and we go, what the hell is that? It's this big orange, folks, Google, or I can't believe I said Google. Search using your favorite AI tool, Gritty, so you can get a picture of what Gritty looks like. And who, by the way, it's a phenomenal mascot now. Anyway, they come out with Gritty, and all of Philadelphia is, besides them, like, what is this? What have the Flyers done? Are you kidding me? And then I think we sat with it for 48 hours going, what is wrong with them? And then the national media catches hold of it. And the nation is now going, what the hell is this? And Philadelphia's god-awful looking thing. And what was Philadelphia's response? F you, that's our Gritty. And now he's beloved. Philly versus the world, folks. Anyway, that is why mine is called Gritty. So it's grit, but it's also, it humanized it, even though it's a mascot. But you could actually go see Gritty, You know, and you go to a Flyers game, or you'll see Gritty. So, all right. So we've got the distinction. That's why we name it. It's more of a, is it fair to say it's not a tool, it's tool-like, but really takes on more qualities that a human personal assistant would take on, or I don't know if quality is the right word to use there, but abilities. It has more human-like abilities than a tool. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, the answer is quite simply yes, because if you just describe it by the interaction, like for example, let's describe an interaction with the tool. I go to the toolbox, pick up this object, hold it at the wooden end, and use the metal end, which I swing in an elbow pivot at a nail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hammer, right?
Yep.
One of the criteria, or one of the truths about a tool, is a tool can never help the human become better than the human is at doing the job. Right? The hammer
Okay.
doesn't make you a better craftsman.
Makes you a faster one.
Sure, but not better. You can't do better carpentry than you have the capability to do.
Okay.
Like, let's take a bit easier example. I suck at golf. I am terrible. Like, I'm talking like handicap 32 plus. It does
Confirmed.
not matter how much I go. I know you can confirm that. It doesn't matter how much I go and spend on golf clubs. I still suck.
Good point. I tell my kids all the time, it's the putter, not the putter, or the driver, not the driver.
100%. You
Right.
could give Rory McIlroy any of the clubs that I say don't work.
And he'll break par. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not the tool can't make rotten oranges into great orange juice. Doesn't matter how good an orange juice, juicer you get, rotten oranges still equal bad orange juice. So it's one of the qualities of the tool. Whereas if you describe my interactions with Jet, they sound like I wake up in the morning and I don't want to kind of like do a spoiler on the rest we're going to talk about, and I get a report around X, Y, Z. And then throughout the day, and burr happen, and I get pinged on Slack by Jet to let me know they happened. The way that I communicate with my actual human assistant and my AI agent are exactly the same. Like
So
I brief
so
both of them
I,
on Slack.
I think I'm right enough
100%.
for
I agree.
the context of this to say it's more like a human personal assistant. So why don't we just jump into it? So here are some of the things that I'm starting to set up. So some of them I know, but I'm going to ask because I'm the idiot. I'm going to ask on behalf of the listener. So without getting technical, Peter, give me the yes, you can, this is how you do it, or these are all the things you could do, right? So mine's Gritty. I want Gritty checking my email every 30 minutes and telling me only what I actually need to look at. Realistic?
100%. Going to take a few iterations of self-learning to get there. But yes, 100%.
Okay, so I can have my Hermes agent, which I've named Gritty, and yours is Jet, and folks, name it whatever you want. You know, by the way, I almost went with Kit from Knight Rider.
Ooh, nice.
Remember?
That'd be cool.
But I don't know, there was something about, I think it was because it was a car, and I'm not huge into cars. Anyway.
Kit was not
so
a car. Kit was an intelligence in a car. How disrespectful of you.
Yeah, but the car also had some pretty incredible, like it was bulletproof.
It's true. They've got to bring it back. Okay, let's move on. Come on, let's.
Right.
This is a rabbit hole that I want to go down, but not helpful.
So, all right. So I not only do I want to know. This is like where we enter wish list world. How much time do we waste on emails and checking emails constantly as entrepreneurs? I don't want to do it anymore. Yep. I want to know when I have something important, right? Check, you can do it. I want spam going to spam, which most email programs do. But the promos, you sign up for something or you sign up for this, that, you're right, and then now you didn't check the right box. Now you're getting their promos, right? If I left my email inbox untouched for an entire day, easily over 250 emails, and that's with already unsubscribing to 500, right? So,
Oh, by the way, fun fact: as an ex-marketer, you should never unsubscribe from an email. Do you know that?
why?
Because as soon as you do that, they now know it's a valid email, and the value of selling that email to somebody else has just gone up from around $10 to $40.
I was pretty sure that I feel like there's some companies where you unsubscribe and then doing so you end up on like 25 more.
You
But
do,
anyway,
literally, because you've just said this is a valid email, and they didn't know it was valid. So this is a fun thing. You
it's
should
good to
always just
know.
archive them and throw them in the folder.
Folks, it was worth sharing the show just for that one nugget
I
right there.
genuinely, like, I've sat with people that are like, oh, here's our list of non-validated emails. We'll sell those to you for this. And here's our list of people that have unsubscribed. We'll sell those to you for this.
Oh my God. Plus they know everything about you.
Yep.
All right. So I want promos handled.
Yep.
I want just, I can't think of a great example, but there's there's emails you get where you just have to respond yes, received, or yep, confirmed, or I
Well,
want
I got one on
I don't want to deal with
Wednesday.
them.
One on Wednesday came in because the temperature is so hot. We won't go into that, but because this is from the school. Because the temperature is so hot, you have the option of whether you bring the kids in tomorrow or not. But please reply to us if you are not going to bring them in, because if you're not going to bring them in, it'll be an unauthorized absence unless you let us know. And Jet said, which way are you leaning? And I said, I don't know. Ask Liz on Slack what she thinks. Sent a message to Liz. Pete's wondering what you think. Replied. She came back to me, as in Jet came back to me and said, yeah, Liz thinks we should keep them at home. I'm like, great, let the school know.
So that ties into my next thing. Exactly. And you're doing this all through Telegram, right? So
Yep.
you've just
You
Telegram.
could use
folks,
WhatsApp or
it's like
hundreds of
WhatsApp,
different,
right?
but Telegram. Yeah.
Actually, it was even offered that I could set up SMS, so I could have done this through my text messaging. I set up through Telegram. I was comfortable with that. That also so smart routing is another feature that I'm setting up right now. So I'm a guest on a podcast. Whenever they release it, they send us all the transcript, the artwork, the promos they do, they want us. Well, they send it to me. Well, now I've got to take that and then forward that to Giselle, my marketing team, whatever. I don't even want to deal with it. I didn't even want to see the email. Right? I'm in the process of setting that up. That's no brainer for an agent, right?
It's so easy that once you set the first 2 or 3 up, you'll find within a couple of weeks it starts saying to you, you normally send this to Pete. Should I just add that to the list? You're like, yeah.
And so, folks, if you're listening, what you just hopefully you picked up on the fact that it's learning too. It's learning our behaviors. And these are the time. This might be a minute here, 3 minutes there, but you start stacking those up in emails, 100 emails a day that I don't have to respond to. That's a lot of minutes.
The estimate is that, so we have this word multitasking, which, if people don't know, has been proven time and time again humans can't do. It's physically impossible. We can't do it. What we can do is very quickly context shift. But if we context shift out of flow state, it can take as a minimum 15 minutes to get back in it. So the answering the one email may only take you 10 seconds, but it will cost you at least 15 minutes and 10 seconds of productive time.
Ready? Here's one of my absolute, I can't stand this. And I know there are Calendly exists, and apparently you can do this in your Google Calendar. I still haven't figured out how to do it, but scheduling.
Oh, simple. You just
are you free? All right, give me 3 dates and times. So these they don't work for you. Now you're back and forth, and if you got more than 2 people, forget about it. Can my agent handle all this? When am I free?
Not only
Check my
can your
schedule?
agent handle this one, Joe, but I did this one a couple of weeks ago. If whoever I did this to listens to this, it wasn't you, it was somebody else. I said to Jet, I need to send this invite, but I really don't want to do it. And her advice was, well, I see they're on Pacific time, so why don't I send them only invite times that wouldn't work for them?
that wouldn't.
Yeah, I didn't want to meet with them.
Oh, that's great. I missed that part.
When they came back to Jet
That's
saying
next level.
that'll be 3:00 in the morning for me, does Pete have any other time? Jet actually turned around and said, sorry, Pete's quite focused on maintaining his boundaries about when he works and when he's with his family. So that would be the only times that would be available. Brilliant. I was like, this is the best thing ever. My agent just shut the door on somebody politely with an idea that I wouldn't have thought of. But easy,
Amazing.
yes. I can text Jet now saying I need to meet with Joe. And the first thing it'll do is go, Joe who? Because it'll look through my email, find the Joes. But it will probably go, I'm willing to bet at least $10. It'll probably go, I'm assuming you mean Joe Downs because of the frequency of communication at the beginning recently. And I go, yep. So great. How important is it? Would probably be the next question. I go, not that important, but I'd like to chat in the next week about XYZ, or needs to be today or needs to be tomorrow. And she will do exactly what you said. Go onto my Google Calendar, find the gaps, email you, send you options, and back and forth. Now, where this gets really cool is when Jet can email Gritty. That's when this starts to get really fun. But, we're a few months away from that, but that's where we're heading towards.
Agents, talking to agents. Okay, this one I have set up, but it's in development mode, meaning I'm not sure exactly what this is going to look like a month from now versus what it already looks like today. And this is, if you're an entrepreneur, lean in for this one. My daily morning briefing. So I have it set up at 7 a.m. I get on my Telegram app, I get a message. In the message is calendar preview for the day, flagged emails, urgent items. This is all one summary. An article digest. So actually, that's at night. So you know how you get emails, people, oh, you could check out this article. You should read this. You should do that, whether they're industry articles or not. That's I get so excited. I'm all over the place right now. At night, I'll do this one first. At night, I have a report scheduled to give me a summary of every article that was sent to me to read. It's going to read the articles, summarize them, give me the link in case I want to read the full article. But in the morning, back to that. In fact, here's what happened today. I got the calendar for the day, all my any emails that came in last night or in the middle of the night that seem important, which shouldn't be too many in the morning. Tasks. So it's reading my tasks. Hey, these are the tasks that you really have to do. Overdue tasks. Hey, you've been putting this one off for a week. The weather. I have it giving me 2 quotes. One for me, inspirational and motivational. One for me to share with my kids. So I'm going to send them a text every morning with an inspirational quote. I got a sports update in there in case I miss anything. What's going on with the Phillies, Eagles, Villanova, Penn State. I'm close with the Spieth, so I want to know how Jordan Spieth's doing in tournaments. So whatever your focus is, or your sports focus, your entertainment focus, maybe you're into Love Island. I don't know. You want to know what happened, what's going on, or what the gossip is. That's all in one morning. I wake up, boom. I'm sitting in bed. I'm waking up. That's my go-to in the morning. I want to read that first. I have, when I go to, I scheduled this as a, and I'm going to have you quickly break this down. But I created another skill that anytime we go to schedule something or someone asks me, can you make this meeting, this trip, this speaking engagement, this, it checks the Downs family calendar for any personal conflicts in case I miss them, especially the further out they are. So I have them check my daughter's going to college. She's a dancer. What do I have to be away that weekend? My boys' sports schedule, family obligation schedule, all that stuff. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking. People really want to hear you, but I'm so excited about all these things I'm using for. What am I missing? Actually, here, I'll tell you this one. I go to Strategic Coach.
Yep.
I have it set up so that, and I haven't seen this work yet, and I love your advice on this. If I come, now that I'm able to, or will be soon, back to being the visionary, I've got ideas. So I want to say to Jack, for Storage Moguls, I want you to do this or that, or here's an idea. How could we go run with this, right? Figure it out. I have it set up. I haven't tried it yet. Tell me where the fail is here of using the strategic coach tools. So one of them is an impact filter, which says, all right, here's the project. Here's what's at stake. Here's what success looks like. Here's why it's so important. What could go wrong? Who are the stakeholders? How do I support them? Right. I have it asking me all those questions when I say, here's a project or an idea for X.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to work?
Yeah. 100%.
Is it capable of that?
So just on back to the daily briefing, just want to offer this to people, because if you suffer from this, this will be your biggest unlock probably on this whole call. The biggest thing that's made a difference to me on my daily briefing is I suffer pretty badly from allergies. Getting a pollen count
Oh, yeah.
is a godsend.
So what do you do with that information?
Well, if the pollen count's high, then I know when I can walk around, when I can walk, when I can't walk, when I need to be in. I know whether I need to put eye drops in. It changes what I wear. It literally changes a whole host of different stuff. I added in something the other day, which I think you might like, which is a me time countdown. So it requires me to go, okay, I've scheduled some time for myself, like around a golf or the driving range or getting my hair cut, and it will literally say, hey, Pete, it's 2 days since, it's 3 days since, it's 4 days since. And at 7 days, it's told to interrupt everything we do. Literally, at 7 days, if I haven't said, yeah, I've taken some time away from everything, it will answer everything I ask it to do with, have you scheduled some downtime yet?
So that's actually another strategic coach principle, and I'm glad you just brought that up. It's called free times. You're supposed to schedule your buffer time and free time and focus time. And that's so you're putting in rules in place, guardrails for your own personal sanity.
One of the
so
things
that
I
you
love,
can relax your brain, and that's brilliant.
and we've spoken about this in the other AI conversations, but it's even more prevalent here. One of the things I love about AI is the ability to be completely vulnerable, because this thing cannot judge you. It's physically impossible for this thing to judge you. So you can tell it what's really happening with the cash flow or the weight or the relationship or your sex life or your mental health or your relationship with God or your kids or the affair. Like literally whatever it is that's happening, this thing doesn't care. So one of the things that I've kind of really leaned into is letting it know my weaknesses. Like I am terrible at delegation. Terrible at delegation. I have a pattern and I play the same pattern and I've played it for a decade, which is I don't delegate, I don't delegate, I don't delegate, I don't delegate. I then dump everything in one go onto somebody, and then I get pissed off that they don't do it well, and I reinforce the fact that I shouldn't delegate because people let me down.
So this is helping you delegate. I actually built that in too. Sorry, I haven't built it in. This was an idea I had. I'm glad you just said that. I want it to start to tell me who I should delegate certain things to.
So that's in what's called the soul file, the overarching personality, I have these. I am really bad at this. For you to regard yourself as successful, you should do this.
Okay.
So it has in there. Don't you think that's something that Liz should do, not you?
I
So
love
it
it.
will literally, as I say, I need to do this or I'm working on this, it will go, why are you working on that? And it will just nudge me.
Now, do you have the Colby, Clifton Strengths, and Print profiles of everyone in your organization?
I've done Clifton.
Okay. Because I think those having the agent have access to those could inform the agent as to who would be best. And on top of that, and this is something I have to set up, I want it to help me communicate better with my staff and family even, and everyone. If I know this person is a X on the Colby scale and Y on the Print and Clifton, whatever it is you're using, disc profile, whatever it is, even when it writes an email, if I say, hey, Grady, send an email to Gretchen to take care of this, I want it worded such that it's received, how should I say, pleasantly by her, or the
No,
way
productively. Well, that word.
fine, but also in a way that doesn't
Aligned
sound like
with her communication.
yes, aligned with
Yeah.
her community. Is a better way to say it. Because I think that it just smooths everything over. There's less friction involved if it's communicating on your behalf in the best possible way.
100%.
All right, Peter, we've only scratched the surface of all the abilities of an agent, but what we just talked about was easily 30 minutes to 3 hours a day of savings, depending on how you use it. Just the things we talked about. There's a million more, I'm sure. I'm still learning them myself. And as we retrain our brains to think about how we can use these, the sky's the limit. Let me ask you a question again, not technical. How long and how would somebody set this up? How long would it take to set up a functioning agent, even to do what I've just talked about, that I've either already have in place or want in place? And how would they do it?
So if they've got once you've got over the learning of how to do it, all the use cases we just went through, 6 hours total, maybe. YouTube University can get you through most of the technical stuff, I would say. Because once you've got it up and running, you're just firing across natural language. You're not coding. You're giving it almost closer to a job description. So there's a lot of variability. But if you say, hey, I need you to check my email every day, and I need you to classify them in the following way, it's literally going to take you 30 seconds to do that first pass, and probably a good few hours to train it through. But I guess my answer, Joe, is certainly not longer than it would take you to teach an assistant to do it.
And your assistant works 9 to 5, maybe.
100%. And when they leave, you've got to redo it again and again and again and again. But that's really the best way to think of the time it would take is exactly the same time as it would take you to tell, because all you're doing is telling the agent what you want it to do.
And by the way,
what
we've talked about, your assistant couldn't do everything that I just said.
No,
they can do
100%.
some of it. They could do some of it, but they couldn't do all of it.
And as you said, you're at 1%. Do you want to know what I did with mine last night? I said, I need you to become a new BDR for this industry, for this one company that I run.
BDR?
So, business development representative. Go and find me 500 new leads a day. Email them, follow up with them, and put them on my setter's calendar for him to close. Thanks.
Are you saying you could? Wow. Are you saying you could create a job description and hire the agent to do the job?
Yes.
Quote unquote, hire the agent.
That's exactly what I did. It started running this morning. So far, it has found 120 leads. It has personalized the email and the outreach to each of them based on press releases that they've written, based on articles that they've written, based on LinkedIn things that they've done. And it's sent them an email saying, hey, Joe, congratulations. We run this. Is it worth me handing you off to one of my team to book a call? This started today, and it's going to follow up with them and follow up with them and follow up with them and follow up with them.
I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
That's a $2,000 a month job minimum.
What someone listening is like, I got to have this. What are they? Obviously, there's access to you. You guys can set this up.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my first recommendation. Go to peterswain.com and hit the buy now button. We've got a program running at the moment where we do all the technical stuff, and then we enable you and teach you a little bit on how to set these up, because obviously everybody's just slightly different. They may not want Villanova, for example. I mean, they'd be crazy not to, obviously,
Well,
but
crazy. Yeah.
crazy, but Villanova might not be their kind of thing, right? For some wild reason.
We got the
So
Pope just basically won the NBA championship.
as I said, crazy, but there are people out there. You just told me there's people out there that listen to other people apart from us. Like, we've all got to
Yeah.
move on. So we do all that techie, geeky bit so that they can just do the fun, useful bit. If that's not the path they want to go, then it's just a YouTube university. Like, how do I set up a Hermes agent and go through that tech piece yourself?
So you can do it yourself. YouTube
100%.
University, you'll find it. Shortcut, do what I did. Go to Peter. I spent 30 minutes on the phone with you on a
Yep.
Zoom, whatever. Got a little bit of a how-to. I think you deliver. This is how you create the skills, and now it's just like, what can I imagine?
And if you remember, Joe, that was your biggest block, because when I first spoke to you, there was a little bit, if you don't mind me putting this out there, you had a little
still
bit of,
there.
I don't get it. What's it doing? I don't get it. And then you went, hang on a second. Are you just saying that if I do this and this, then it can do this? I'm like, yes. And then
because
2 days later, it's different.
Because it feels unbelievable, which is why there's the mental block. I don't think I'm that different than most people.
That's why I wanted to call it out.
Yeah.
It's this, I'm and then it's like, oh, and then it's like galloping. It's like, okay, I've done this and I've done this and it's doing this and I was doing this. And we see the same path with most people.
In fact, I'd say I'll bet you I'm like everyone that listens to this, because if the people like this podcast, I don't want to throw us under the bus here, but it's probably beneath the tech person who already knows they can do all this, right? I think we're representing, or at least I'm representing, 99% of us out there who are like, what? That can't be real. That can't be right.
But even with the tech people, they spend a lot of time doing cool stuff with the tech, but the exploring how it maps to the business, honestly, that's a different skill that I don't often see from that side of the aisle.
Last thing, and then I want to wrap this up. I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you want to, no matter what, I mean, if what you haven't said so far isn't blowing your mind, I don't know what else to tell you, but I think you need this setup, because I'm predicting, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you are going to be able to buy skills based on your job that you can connect to your agent. Like, if I'm a real estate agent, I'll bet you there's going to be a real estate agent package out there of pre-programmed skills to find buyers and get listings or whatever it is, right? That takes your business and puts it on steroids. I'll bet you're going to be able to buy that for a couple $100 or $1,000 or whatever the number is going to be. It's going to be well worth it. The ROI is going to be insane. I'll bet you're going to be able to do that someday. You think I'm off base there?
That's exactly what we're building at the moment. But the way we've focused on it, which I think is quite fun, is we're focusing on a two-way marketplace. So
What does
that
that mean?
I want people that write those skills. Like, I could write the realtor pack, right? But I'm not a realtor. So it's going to be my assumed knowledge of how realtors would work.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be app developers, is what you're saying.
I want realtors to write the skills.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
sell them to other realtors.
Decide to sell to other people.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it's going to be fun.
Folks,
that's exactly where this goes.
This
we just
feels
load
like
this thing up.
This agentic AI, which it feels like a new phase.
It is 100% is.
It almost feels as if not more exciting than just being introduced to AI.
To me, it's I used to call them the Excalibur moments, like when I felt like I was touching the sword of Albion, like whoa, everything just changed. ChatGPT was the first. Claude Code was the second for me, of like, whoa, everything just changed. And agentic AI is the third, where I'm like, whoa, this is different.
I feel like I'm in a new world. I couldn't be more excited about it.
Because using AI, using chatbots, we've spoken about this a few times, actually, Joe. actually gives you more opportunity. It gives you more opportunity, but it actually really hurts your mental health in some ways, because there's so much you realize you can now do. You end up till 4 o'clock in the morning because you're creating all this stuff. What this does, what agentic AI does, is it gives you back your time,
Exactly.
which to
I,
me could be the most precious thing that we've ever achieved with AI.
which, back to the beginning, is going to give us back our brains
To then find the opportunity.
relax and
Yeah.
go back to being the opportunistic
Being human
visionary.
again.
Being human, yeah. Being an entrepreneur again.
Instead of being an automaton that masquerades as an entrepreneur every so often.
I am so excited for this new era of AI. And folks, I understand if you're like, what new era? I just got into AI. I get it. But you need to do that. You need to lean into this. This is a game changer of game changers. Folks, I hope this episode blew your mind, because it blew mine, and it's still blowing mine, and I'm sure next week and the week after that, my mind's still going to be blown. I'm probably going to be tuning in with, I got it to do this each week, and you'll probably get tired of it, or not. Hopefully I'll be sharing possibilities with you. Share this with somebody, honestly, that needs to hear this, because it doesn't matter what they do for a living. Everyone needs a Hermes agent. Everyone needs an agentic personal assistant. That's what this is. You don't have to overthink it. It's not that difficult. You just heard it's 30 or so minutes to set up, and it will change your life. It'll change your business. Spread this podcast like wildfire to your friends, your family, people in your business. They will thank you for it. For Peter Swain, I'm Joe Downs. We are your successful idiots. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.